Hello everyone. So I want to do like a week of knitting, a week-long knit-along, a week knit with me for a week, a weekly check-in, a daily check-in for a week, a daily check-in for a week until Friday. Today is Sunday. I have a couple of knitting things that I'm working on, and I just thought it would be fun for me and hopefully for you if I did daily check-ins to kind of like catch you up on what I'm doing. So first of all, I finished my DRK Everyday socks by Andrea Mowry, and this is I'm wearing them. They're all complete. They are done. I wore them on a walk this morning. They're great. I do think I want to add maybe an inch to the ankle on my next pair. They are above my boot, but just barely, and that makes me a little uncomfortable. I like having a little more sock above my boot, I think. So anyways, but such a fun knit. I really, really love this sock pattern, and I think it's going to be one that I replicate a whole heck of a lot. I also started a Ravelry account, so I'll post a link down below to that, and we'll just start updating progress photos, works in progress, completed projects, and queued projects. I have a couple of patterns in my queue that I would like to get to at some point in the very near future. So what I'm currently working on, I've got what I'm calling 2 at a time socks, but I'm saying that in quotes because it's my own variation. Since I am not knitting 2 socks on one line, I'm actually kind of staggering my progress. So I'm knitting more DRK Everyday socks. And what I did is at each stopping point, I'm moving to the next sock. So I started with this sock, I did the toe, and then I did the toe on this one. And now I'm doing the foot. And when I get to the gusset, I'll stop and do the foot here, and then I'll do the gusset, and then I'll do the gusset, and so on and so forth. And I'll just keep staggering and working them incrementally together until completion. I just want to see how this goes. I don't mind working 1 sock at a time. And maybe one day I'll feel really adventurous and inspired to try 2 socks at a time on one line. But for now, like, this is fine. But the reason why I'm doing them 2 at a time is because as I am learning, between 1 sock and the second sock, I kind of forget a lot. And so I want to basically duplicate everything, every step, so that it's more solidified in my brain and I won't forget it as much. I think this will work out really well. We'll see. We'll see if I continue to do this in the future with other socks as well. So the fibers that I'm using 2 different fibers, both from the Farmer's Daughter. This is in the Bear Paw sock yarn. We have Clay Dreaming and Dumpling. Those are the colors. And they are so soft. This is 10% nylon, 20% yak, and then the rest is wool. I may have gotten my percentages incorrect, but that's what I remember. Actually, I might even have, here we go, Bear Paw. We have 20% yak, 10% nylon, 70% merino. Great, I had it in my head. So those are the socks that I'm working. I'm also working on a shawl. Now, I actually already started the shawl, but I have already ripped out all of my progress because I misinterpreted something in the pattern and I wanted to get it right the first time. So I've started all over again, but I can show you the fibers that I have chosen. This is the Hug Hug Kiss Kiss shawl by Andrea Mowry. And I have 3 colors. The main color is this white here, and then the highlighting colors will be these 3. This is all from M-Yak. This is 100% yak fiber, baby yak specifically. This is oatmeal. We have brick dust is the red, chocolate, and mustard. I love these colors. It took me a long time to pick out the colorway for this. I'm gonna start that over again today. My goal for the next 2 days is to finish the first section, which is what I had already done, and I had already moved on to the second section before ripping it out. But I think that's pretty obtainable. And then throughout the week, I would like to finish the foot of the sock and get working on the second sock foot. So I think I'm going to stop there, and I'll see you all tomorrow with an update. Hopefully, won't be too long. Ooh, good morning. It's day 2, Monday. It's early. The sun hasn't come up yet. My hands feel kind of stiff and slow and a little bit clumsy. I have started a new knit. I started a new knit last night. I was going through my yarn stash, and actually I listed some yarns for sale or for trade on my Ravelry account, and just kind of going through things and trying to clear up some space and not get overwhelmed by unused yarns. And this particular fiber from the Farmer's Daughter in the Craggy Tweed Gary Cooper color, it's kind of a mouthful. I had this yarn waiting around to be made into a classic ribbed hat by Pearl Soho. And when it arrived, I was kind of not super inspired to knit a hat at the time. And last night I started working on my shawl again and made a couple of mistakes and ripped it out again and decided that I was just too darn exhausted in that moment to work on something with a bunch of new techniques. My brain just wasn't, I didn't have the focus that I needed. And so I really wanted to do something that just kind of was really familiar and really easy. And this is a very easy hat to knit. It's just a 1x1 rib stitch for inches and inches until you get to the very end, and then you do a very lovely decrease. And so here we are. I'm destashing a little bit, which kind of feels nice, working on a project that I had intended on doing a little while ago. It's getting to be that time of year. It will be 100 today, but it's in the low 60s at least at night. My goal actually is to have this hat finished before this weekend. We're going on a camping trip, and oh man, have I been craving a camping trip so bad. It always feels too long in between our trips. And I'm just like, I gotta get out there. I gotta sleep under the stars. I gotta be around nature and with fresh air, and I need it so bad. And so we're going camping. It's just been a really, really busy month. It's been a crazy month, and it'll feel good to kind of recalibrate. Anyways, my goal is to finish this hat in time. And I think if I just kind of dedicate the next 5 days to it, I should definitely be able to do that. I have to be careful about my hands though, because they do get a little stiff and sore if I knit for too long. So I need to make sure that I do lots of hand stretches and take breaks and not get burned out. Take a sip of coffee. This fiber is really fun. It's a very acidic green with, so it's a tweed yarn. It has these little speckles of black, cream, and brown. And I wonder, because the speckles they're not a part of the fiber. They look very loosely spun in as an afterthought. I'm not really sure how tweedy yarns are made, but I wonder how long these little specks will stay in the fibers. Are they gonna just kind of fall out over time? Will this yarn always look like a Tweety yarn? I don't know. Anyways, there it is. It's just the beginning. I did make a little progress on my sock as well. I don't know I can't remember where it was, where we left off yesterday. This yarn has been so lovely to knit up. Oh my goodness. In fact, I'm just going to do a little row real quick while we're on it. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go. I'll give you another update tomorrow. I hope this video continues to be fun. I'm a little skeptical. I'm a little already thinking maybe I should just never post this. This seems really boring, but I don't know. I really enjoy videos like this a lot. I was actually watching the Crazy Sock Lady the other day, and she did like a everyday update kind of vlog, knitting vlog, while she was on vacation, and I just found it really relaxing and enjoyable to listen to. So I'm hoping that this will serve a similar purpose in someone else's life. So, all right, until tomorrow, bye. Hello and good morning. I have yet to find my voice. I am so groggy and my allergies are kind of kicking my butt this morning. Yesterday was just absolutely exhausting, and I don't feel at all prepared for the rest of the week, which is not an ideal way to start off a week. But I do have a lot of success in my knitting to share, so at least there's that. I am basically done with the body of my sock. So let's do a little ceremonial snip of the yarn. Oh my gosh, this part's always, it's quite a commitment. Doop, there we go. So now I am going to switch to the other sock, the second sock that I already started, work the body, and then go back to this one and do the heel or the gusset, which is a color change. So it works out really well. That's my sock update. I love knitting socks so much because they're just, I think I've already talked about that in this video. They're wearable and they're easy to pack, and it's an easy project to take anywhere. I take them hiking and they're just always in my bag. I also made a fair amount of progress on my hat. So this is the classic ribbed beanie by Pearl Soho, and it's super simple. This is like the most basic I think you could do. Well, maybe just a knit stitch would be the most basic, but anyways, it's a really simple hat, and I can kind of just like check out and not really pay attention as I'm doing it. I like this pattern. Out of all the hats that I have knit thus far, this is the hat that I gravitate towards. My go-to. It's my go-to hat. When I'm traveling, it's the one I pack in my bags. When I want to wear a beanie, it's usually the one that I put on. It's just very comfortable. So I'm hoping having some new color options will be kind of a nice thing to do. And then the thing that I am most proud of is I made some shawl progress. This shawl, I have just this constant little like bit of dread in the back of my head because there's a lot of new techniques and I'm just so worried about messing up. I've already had to restart this a couple of times and I don't want to have to keep doing that. So I think for the first time ever, I'm going to put in a lifeline because I am done with section 1 now and I'm moving on to section 2, and that just seems like a good time to put in a lifeline. Yeah, I want to do that. So section 2 will have 2 new techniques where I'll be doing like cross stitching and bobble stitches. So that's why I think it'll be really important to have a lifeline, because there's a good chance that I'm going to make a lot of mistakes as I'm learning these new techniques and have to rip it back a couple of times. Hopefully that won't happen, but if it does, it is what it is. It's all part of the learning. That will make me feel a lot less anxious, I think, about moving forward. But I'm really glad that I put in some time yesterday to just focus and learn and do it, because trust me, I felt a little bit like procrastinating, which is ultimately why I ended up starting that hat instead of working on that shawl originally. So I'm not gonna do that. I want to finish this shawl. I also, just real quick, got in some new fibers. This is ridiculous. I have 4 new yarns. One is for another beanie. This is lichen and lace in the rustic heather sport, which is 100% Canadian wool. The color is pollen. This is going to be for an Andrea Mowry beanie. I forget what it's called, but it will have a lot of new techniques, so that should be fun. Along with that order came another sock weight yarn. This is in the color Shrub. This is 80% superwash and 20% nylon, and these will be for socks in the future. I probably will combine that with another color. I haven't decided yet. And then I have more sock yarn. This is by Bad Sheep Yarn, and it is a 75% superwash merino and a 25% nylon in the colorway Yippee-Ki-Yay, which is really fun, and it reminds me of the West, specifically 1950s, mid-century West. I love it. I love that image that is conjured. And then this I got at a local yarn shop. This is I believe a local dyer called Dream, and this is their Smooshy Cashmere fingering weight yarn. This is a 70% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon, and this will also be for socks. And it has neon orange, which I just absolutely love. I don't have favorite colors per se. I do have colors that I gravitate towards, and probably colors that I would never list as a favorite, but I love color combinations. So when there's a color combination that does it for me, those are what I really am drawn to. So on its own, neon orange is not a color that I would really be drawn to, but combined with all these neutral, subdued, more earthy tones, I just absolutely love it. So that'll be fun. So that's it for today's update. I think I already said this is day 3. We're Tuesday, and we have a couple more days to go in this knit along or whatever this video is. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Good morning, it's day 4, time for another knitting update. So let's do this quick. I have made no progress on my shawl except for putting in a lifeline. So when I have the mental energy and the time to kind of focus on learning some new techniques, I will approach that. I'd like to do something this week with that shawl. Next, I have my hat, which I have made a lot of progress on at this point. I'm like kind of on the fence about it. I really love wearing this particular pattern. It's a very wearable hat for me. It's kind of a boring knit. There's not many, the only interesting thing that happens is at the very end for the decrease. There's a beautiful decrease, but other than that, you're just like knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl for a very long time. And I have about maybe this much more to go before I start the decreases. It serves a purpose well in certain situations for when I am busy doing other things. I need to be paying attention to other things around me, but I still want to like do something with my hands. This is a great one because it doesn't require really any focus or concentration. I sat at the bank for over an hour yesterday. I had to sort out some things, and I just sat in the guy's office and I talked and I listened and I waited for a lot of the time, and I knit on this hat, and it was really perfect for that. I also am a little like, I don't know if I like this color as much. It's a little bit, it's too green for me. And I think what I'm really excited about is the color of this yarn for the next hat that I have. This is a little more yellow, and I think I'm discovering that I am attracted to warmer tones. So this green is a little maybe too cold for me, and I want it to be verging on a warmer tone. So
anyways, just some thoughts. The most progress I made is on my socks. Ta-da! I have my second sock. We're now working in the foot. And here's the first one. I've already gone ahead and attached the next color. It's the same color as the toe. That's going to be for the gusset. So once I finish the body here, I'll move back to the gusset there. And I love knitting socks. I just love knitting socks. And I also really love working with this fiber. It's so soft. So this is that merino wool yak blend from Farmer's Daughter. I just love it. So anyways, excited. I'm most excited about the socks, and that's really just all I want to be knitting right now. I am excited to have the shawl done. I think it's going to be very wearable, but I still have a little bit of like trepidation, a little bit of anxiety about it. And the hat, I'm like, I think I could have spent my time better. It'll be fine. Like I said, it's serving its purpose, but I think I would have rathered make a new hat completely in a very different pattern and be challenged. So that's where we're at, and I'll see you all in the next update.
All right, everyone. So we're now on day 5, and I have some really exciting news. First of all, I want to talk about this hat. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. The color, it's just not quite right. I like it in theory. I think it will look good with everything I own, basically, but I just don't know. So I'm feeling a little conflicted. Do I continue on and finish the hat? I mean, I've made a lot of progress. Do I finish the hat and gift it to someone? I don't know many people that would wear a beanie, and the one person that I think would like this color is also a knitter, and I feel like she'd just want to knit the hat herself. And I'm gonna ask Brian if he would ever wear this, and that maybe will help me decide. The other option, of course, is to just pull this out and sell the yarn and move it along and pass it on to someone else that will really love it, because I don't really love it. I'm just like, I don't know. And I really want to love the things that I'm working on. Like the socks. I really love these socks, and I really love these fiber. So I have made a little bit of progress since yesterday on my second sock. But the main thing that I am really excited to share is the progress that I've made on my shawl. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Here we go. So you can see I have the lifeline that will come out soon. I'm gonna put in a new lifeline when I get to this section here. So this is the second section. It's where the baubles are and the crosses. So that's the XOXO of this Hug Hug Kiss Kiss shawl. And I am so proud. And I'm very grateful that I put in a lifeline, because I did have to pull it out and start again. This was a lot of new concepts, a lot of new things to learn. And now for the rest of the shawl, until we get to the color work, it's going to be the same pattern. So I have overcome the biggest hurdle, and that was just learning all of this new information. There's a lot of new information to learn. And there were times where I was feeling like this is way beyond what I'm capable of. This isn't my level. I should be doing something else. But then I thought about it, and I thought, okay, so what is my level? Making socks? If I keep making socks forever, I'm never going to get to the next level, because I'll never have an opportunity to learn them. So I pushed my way through it, even though I really was feeling very discouraged. And I sat down and I learned some new things, and now it feels like I have a grasp. I have a handle on this. I think the remainder of the shawl, until I get to the color work, will be pretty straightforward and very doable. And it makes me very happy. This is a really big thing for me, a really big undertaking. Just learning that many different techniques all at once. I'm, again, having that lifeline really helped a lot because it made me feel confident enough to step out and try all the new things. And so I want to do that again. I have a couple more rows of doing this section here, which will be replicated here before I get to the bobble section. I'll pop in a new lifeline just in case, even though I feel pretty confident that I have a good grasp. But the stitch count really matters, and so if I add a stitch or somehow forget a stitch or something, if I'm off a stitch, then I will have to do it all over again. So I think keeping that lifeline will be valuable, and this is just going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. And I think what I'd like to get, I've seen them at the yarn shop here in Tucson, I think I'm going to pick them up today actually, are these little, I don't know what they're called. They're like these little things that you put on the end of your needle, and you depress the button and you can slide it on and then release the button and it like grips. And so that's designed to be able to like push your work on your cable and kind of like cinch it all up. And I think that will be really nice to have once this grows more and more and more. And you know, I'm gonna have more knits than I will have cable length when we get to that point. So anyways, that's where we're at today. I'm feeling really proud of myself because admittedly, a pattern in my life with everything that I try, when I try a new thing, I'm really like super determined to learn that thing. But I usually just get to like the first level. I get to this point where I can be content with the music I'm playing or the thing that I'm crafting or the artwork that I'm doing. And then I get stuck in that space because I'm so terrified to keep learning and growing. And it's very hard for me to break through that. And I was kind of worried that I would get stuck with my knitting and I would just be knitting socks or hats forever and never learning anything new. So that's a big accomplishment. All right, it is the final day, day 6. It's Friday. If you're still watching this excessively long video, thank you so much for sticking around. I hope that this was something that you have enjoyed. I certainly have enjoyed doing it. I think partly it kept me on track, it kept me inspired, it kept me motivated to make as much progress as I could squeeze into the week. So when we first started, I had not yet had anything to show for my shawl except my intentions. And now here we are. And this has been an incredible journey. It has been quite a challenge in so many ways, both mentally and, should I say physically? I mean, it is a physical thing. It's not like my heart was beating really hard or anything, but it was challenging. There's so many new things that I learned in this shawl alone. And I definitely had some ups and downs, some moments of thinking that I shouldn't be doing this because I wasn't good enough yet to knit something like this. And now in hindsight, it feels really simple, and it's silly that I was ever that intimidated. But here we are. We've now done 2 rounds of the bobbles. You can see just there at the bottom, I moved the lifeline closer to that section. You can just kind of barely make it out, just in case. But I feel really confident in these techniques now that I know what I'm doing. I am so excited to know what I'm doing and not be like stumbling around in the dark. I can't wait to wear this shawl. It's so soft. Just once again, this is the baby yak fiber, and it feels like it would be perfect for a baby blanket. It's just really soft and light and squishy and is going to feel so good up against my skin. I don't know if I'm going to do the full size of the shawl just yet. Not because I'm intimidated by the size or feeling lazy or impatient, but just simply because I want to make a size that feels
the most wearable for me and my needs and my lifestyle. And so as it grows, I'm gonna kind of like figure out if I want to make it as big as the pattern or if I want to shrink it down just a little bit and start my color work earlier. So we'll see, but I love it. So excited. I feel so proud. We also started off the week with these socks that I'm knitting 2 at a time. And I can't remember if I started off the week with both of the toes already knitted or not. I can't remember. It's been a really long and crazy week. But here we are. This is the progress we've made. And I'm almost done with the foot here. And then I've attached the next color for the gusset work. So this is ready to go as soon as I finish the length of this one. Then I'll just go back to working on this one, do the gusset and the heel, and then you know the routine. I've mentioned it like every day, I think. And then the hat. Well, I pulled it out. I made my peace with it. I felt like that was the best option for me. I think mentally and physically, having this project that I wasn't really inspired to work on, it wasn't working. And I'd much rather move the yarn along to someone that will be inspired by it than keep it around for like that potential that maybe one day that I actually like it. And it's not that I don't like it. I don't know what it is. It's just there's something about it. So moving on. I don't have time. So we're just gonna move it on, and I'm gonna embrace these 2 projects that I've got going right now. I have some new projects that are kind of in my mental queue that I'm so excited to work on and feeling a little bit more confident to give them a try. So I will talk about that in another knitting video in the future, maybe the next one when I do an update on my shawl and my socks and so on and so forth. But anyways, thank you again for watching. Happy knitting, happy writing, happy reading, happy whatever you're doing. I hope that you find fulfillment and inspiration. Bye.